And over time that corrupts. I think there has to be an introspection in tech companies about the culture that they develop, about the political ideology, the bubble. It's interesting to see that bubble. Like I've asked myself a lot of questions. I've interviewed the Pfizer CEO, what seems now a long time ago, and I've gotten a lot of criticism, positive comments, but also criticism from that conversation. And I did a lot of soul searching about the kind of bubbles we have in this world, and it makes me wonder. Pharmaceutical companies, they all believe they're doing good, and I wonder, because the ideal they have is to create drugs that help people and do so at scale. And it's hard to know at which point that can be corrupted. And it's hard to know when it was corrupted and if it was corrupted and where and which drugs and which companies and so on. And I don't know. I don't know that complicated. It seems like inside a bubble, you can convince yourself if anything is good. People inside the Third Reich regime were able to convince themselves, I'm sure many, just Bloodlands is another book I've been recently reading about it. And the ability of humans to convince they're doing good when they're clearly murdering and torturing people in front of their eyes is fascinating. They're able to convince themselves they're doing good. It's crazy. Like there's not even an inkling of doubt. I don't know what to make of that. So it has taught me to be a little bit more careful when I enter into different bubbles, to be skeptical about what's taken as an assumption of truth. Like you always have to be skeptical about like what's assumed as true. Is it possible it's not true? If you're talking about the America, it's assumed that in certain places that surveillance is good. Well, let's question that that assumption. Yeah, and it inspired me to question my own assumptions that I hold as true constantly. Constantly, it's tough. It's tough.
But you don't grow. I mean, do you want to be just static and not grow? You have to question yourself on some of these things if you want to grow as a person.
Yeah, for sure. One of the tough things, actually, of being a public personality when you speak publicly is you get attacked all along the way as you're growing.
Sure.
And in part, a big softy as well, if I may say. And those hurt. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
Do you pay attention to it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very hard. Like I have two choices. One, you can shut yourself off from the world and ignore it. I never found that compelling. This kind of idea of like haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Like this idea that anyone with a big platform or anyone's ever done anything was always gotten hate. Yeah, okay, maybe, but like I still want to be vulnerable, wear my heart on my sleeve, really show myself, like open myself to the world, really listen to people, and that means every once in a while somebody will say something that touches me in a way that's like, what if they're right?
Do you let that hate influence you? I mean, can you be bullied into a different opinion than you think you really are just because of that hate?
No, I believe not, but it hurts in a way that's hard to explain. Like, it just, it gets to like, it shakes your faith in humanity, actually, is probably why it hurts. Like, people that call me a Putin apologist or a Zelensky apologist, which I'm currently getting almost an equal amount of, but it hurts. It hurts because it hurts because it damages slightly my faith in humanity to be able to see the love that connects us, and then to see that I'm trying to find that, and I'm doing my best in the limited capabilities I have to find that. And so to call me something like a bad actor, essentially, from whatever perspective, it just makes me realize, well, people don't have empathy and compassion for each other. It makes me question that for a brief moment. And that's like a crack, and it hurts.
How many people do this to your face?
Very few.
Yeah, it's online e-muscles, man. They're just flexing their
I have to be honest that it happens.
Yeah,
because I've hung around with Rogan enough. When your platform grows, there's people that will come up to Joe and say stuff to his face that they forget. They still they forget he's actually a real human being.
Yeah.
They'll make accusations about him.
So does that cause him to wall himself off more?
No, he's pretty gangster on that. But yeah, it still hurts if you're human. If you really feel others, I think that's also the difference with Joe and me. He has a family that he deeply loves, and that's an escape from the world for him. There's a loneliness in me I'm always longing to connect with people and with like regular people, and like just to learn their stories and so on. And so if you open yourself up that way, the things they tell you can really hurt.